What's up? What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Just Joe King podcast. I am one half of the podcast king.
And I'm Joe.
Hey man, we're back. We're back up in this thing Wednesday, July 27th, with our regularly scheduled programming. Before we get into it, what are we doing? We're streaming live right now. We're streaming live on YouTube and Facebook at Just Joking Podcast. We also put this out on audio where all major podcasts are being played at. And if you need to contact us, if you'd like for us to cover something, or if you just want to comment about something, do it on our platforms or shoot us an email at just.joe.king.podcast at gmail.com. I finally got that right. Give me a hand.
I even forget it still.
Hey man, first of all, brother, it's good to see you. Me and you both are straggly beard gang going on today. I literally just walked into the house right before we went live, trying to stuff a Sonic's steak and cheese as I'm walking up from the car to make sure that I grabbed a bite to eat here. And normally, man, I would have tucked and groomed, but I said, you know what? It is what it is today. I
Yeah.
know that we're going to be up on video, but you know what, man? I'm about to be 38 next week.
Mm.
Here.
Dude, I was out in the sun all day today. I'm all dried up, man. All dried
Yeah, dude.
up. All sweated out.
I'm not sure about you, but for me, I was out last Saturday as I was celebrating my daughter's 15th birthday party. We went to the downtown pool, and even with putting on sunscreen or whatnot, you probably can't tell now, but my face and skin just started peeling today. So if it just started today, it's probably going to look its worse tomorrow. And lucky for me, let's see, Thursday, I got a couple of video calls and stuff for work, like video teleconferences, but I'm not gonna be up in people's faces next year shedding, man, looking like a snake skin dude trying to, gain some new skin. So I'm curious with you, if you've been out, man, in the sun all day, I'm wondering, man, if you are the type of person who peels or not.
No. I brown. It takes a lot. Like I can be out in the sun for hours and not really have any issues with it. Um, and then I brown after prolonged exposure. But I got really lucky in the Spanish department with I can get red. I can get really red if I'm like in a damaging amount of time in the sun. But no, I get lucky. But if I do reach that limit where I get red, then I peel.
Okay, I got you. You know, man, I
Yeah.
was wearing the shirt too. Let me see if I got I have a
Yeah, the
little bit of the
farmer's tan.
farmer's tan.
Farmer's tan. I probably got this. Yeah, I got the same thing going.
That's what's up.
That's
That's what's
that's
up.
the they call it the farmer's tan. I think it's a dad tan. Like we all just pretty much have it.
Mm-hmm.
Or
So,
my favorite is your arms are different from the driver's side is darker than the non-driver's side. Oh,
uh-huh.
love that.
Man, there were definitely times where it used to be that way. Not in my military days, but in my civilian days, whenever I had to drive into work, man, having the one arm that was darker than the other one. Hey, man, so let's check in, man. It's been a while. You did something pretty cool. But just kind of how's things going with you mentally, physically, spiritually, financially? Talk to me,
Uh,
brother.
good across the board right now. I've been dealing with fluctuations in my I don't know what lack of a better word, your chi. You know what I mean? Like I've been dealing with the ups and downs of being bipolar and stuff. But not in the horrible way because thankfully I have medication that keeps me from spiraling out of control. But I've been dealing with that. Like I've noticed, like my energy levels have varied wildly. Like yesterday, I felt like I hadn't slept for 2 days, even though I slept 8 hours the night before. And then today, I mean, I had stuff going on. I knew I had some missions to do and some shit to get done, and I felt great today. But then after being out in the sun for 4 hours, I'm like, ugh, back to wanting to take a nap in the middle of the day, kind of thing.
Hmm.
Um, but I've been doing really well because I've been very motivated to get some shit done and make moves and stuff like that. Recently, I don't know what cool thing you were alluding to, but I guess maybe I went to a convention recently, and
Yeah.
yeah. I've been doing some stuff in the creative space. I really enjoy comics and movies and pop culture and stuff like that. So I've been doing stuff in a creative space and contributing to some things that I really love and I'm excited about. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun. For me, it really is about like you're going into this realm, and maybe I'm going off topic, but
No,
you
talk,
get
man.
we're getting in we're in this realm of like pop culture and entertainment, and we're talking with famous people who portray aspects of life in macro focus. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like they're doing it in these small doses that we watch for an hour every week, or 2 hours for a sitting, and you meet them in person. Any normal person understands that an actor is not the roles that they're playing. They're just a person who has a way of expressing emotions and different perspectives and stuff like that. So like that they're not what you think they are until you meet them and know who they are. You know what I mean? And so I've met a few, and they've always surprised me with how wonderful they are and how gracious they are. But I had this really amazing interaction with Summer Glau. If you don't know her, she was in the Sarah Connor Chronicles. She was in Firefly. She's done so many great things. She was in the remake of Evil Dead. She's just an amazing actress. Love her. Sci-fi actress like queen, and never had a chance to meet her in my life. And then we were just standing in this convention hall, and she was walking from one location to another. And they're very busy. They have schedules. They have a lot of things to do. So they have handlers who get them from point A to point B. You know what I mean? So people don't distract them or stop them. But she wanted to stop and say hi to Jem, and I was like, "Yeah, say hi, say hi." And we ended up having this conversation for about 15 minutes, and his dude, this conversation was just so deep, and on the surface it didn't really seem so,
Hmm.
because we were talking. She was asking what the dog does for me and everything, and I explained, that I had not been out in a public setting in maybe 5 years, like in a really big kind of public setting. And she was like, "Wow, that's like as to a normal person, I'm sure that sounds crazy, you know." And she responded correctly, in my opinion. I don't take offense to it at all. Um, but I talked about how, and we've talked about this in previous episodes, where veterans kind of feel like maybe there's this disconnection between civilians and veterans, and that I feel like the dog in a lot of ways helps me get past that initial moment of, because all the focus is on the dog. The dog is central, like the center of attention at almost all times, which to me is a happy side effect. You know, I don't have to feel the heat on me. I can take a moment to collect my thoughts, or I can approach the person on common ground. So we're all like in love with the dog. Like it's it's this great instant connection with somebody you don't know. You know what I mean? And getting that connection between two people is sometimes very tough, or it's awkward. It makes you anxious, and anxiety can be a big thing and a big issue. But we talked about how, and I had an epiphany kind of thing during our conversation, because she talked about how she's experienced grief in her life, and that makes her feel disconnected from other people as well. And she said something very important, and I cherish, like I told her too, it's like I don't want to take away from what you just said, but what you just said is a very important thing. She said that my grief and your grief, or the trauma we've experienced is so very different. It's not the same trauma. And I had to stop her and I was like, but you know what though? I think in that moment of that we have both experienced trauma, we are actually more the same than we are different. In that trauma can be various. Trauma can be wildly different from one person to the next. But how we experience grief and post traumatic stress is very similar. Not always, obviously, everything is kind of we're all very unique and different individuals, but we all experience grief similarly. You know what I mean? How we internalize it, the severity of that is determined only by our brains, or by our psyche. Like it's the smallest thing can have the wildest impact. Like people who get bit as a child and hate dogs the rest of their lives. That kind of trauma can be built from a very small thing, but it can, if untreated, unchecked, and unhelped, it can snowball and become this monumental thing.
Mhm.
And I think in that moment, we both kind of realized in that conversation, like maybe we both just kind of had a breakthrough kind of thing, where we're not so dissimilar. And it's wild because we come from such varied ways of life. She's a celebrity and she's done all this work to portray characters on screen, and I've been serving my country for 20 years. um it's just it was an amazing, amazing experience. I wouldn't trade it for the world. And she was everything I hoped she'd be as a person. So it was really cool. Sorry, long story.
No, no,
Cool stuff,
actually,
but
no, actually, that's pretty cool because what you don't know is part of what I was thinking about today when I was thinking about our primary story that we're going to talk about today. Actually has to do with trauma. And there were some things that I wanted to discuss and bring up, or some points about trauma and actions and consequences and how you process, deal, and things like that. So
yeah,
it's so interesting that you brought that up and you kind of went into it with your conversation with Summer, man. That's pretty dope.
yeah,
That's
it
pretty
was pretty
dope.
amazing. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Hey, is this your first time on the, having the new setup as well on the Just Joking podcast?
This is the second one. The
Okay.
the Our previous episode, I was on this, but I had a different camera placement, so it was much more tight to me and less about everything around me. So now you can see the room and everything. So it is the new setup, but I did have it last time.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
All right. I'm trying to get like you, man. Like my shot is tight right now because my
yeah.
background is trash. I've been trying to figure out the green screen situation. I
Mm,
almost got it set up the way that I need to with the proper lights and the filters and all of that stuff. But for now, y'all just gonna get this bland background. That's about as bland and boring as you can get. But you know what? It is what it is.
yes,
We're
sir.
still That's still not gonna stop these lives from coming out. It's still not gonna stop us from having our check-ins. Did you have anything else, man?
Yeah, man. How have you been? What's your check-in?
Oh man. So personally for me, everything's been good. Lately, when things have been off, it's been external stuff.
Mm,
And then me, kind of understanding or having an idea of what that means. I know somebody who lost a spouse. I know somebody who lost a father, but at the age that we're at, that's going to be a lot more common here lately as we get
yeah.
older. But personally, things been good, man. I've been managing and keeping a hold of my finances really well. The only thing health wise that's been really off has just been my sleep. My sleep's been, bro, it's been
Yeah.
trash for years. And I mean, I've tried everything. I have the CPAP. I've have these dentures, which they're over here, man. I can't reach it right now, but I like the dentures over the CPAP because with the dentures, man, I put them in. It took me a while to get used to them,
Hmm.
but I don't have that machine. I don't have the fate. Like I don't have to worry
Yeah.
about rolling over and knocking the thing off or whatnot. It's just I put them in and then boom, man, I'm able to go to sleep. It took me. couple of days to get used to them because having something in your mouth
Yeah.
like that, you
Mhm.
start drooling and stuff all over the place. So I had to like sleep with a towel, like sleep with a towel up under me, man, just because I was drooling those first couple of days. Um,
That's awesome.
but and then like I've tried the medicine and stuff route too,
Yeah.
and I always wake up with this fog with the Ambien or Restoril or everything like that.
Yeah.
So I have the prescription for it, but I choose not to if I can help it.
Yeah, I understand that. I've
Um,
had Ambien before, and that was bad business for me.
yep, yep. But see, let me see. But see, internally, like I said, that's really about the only thing. Ex um Externally, a lot of negative stuff or just things you would
Yeah.
file on the bad side of things hasn't happened to me. It's things that I'm aware of from other people where I have an idea or an understanding of how sad that is to like lose a
Yeah.
father or lose a really close loved one like that, man.
Yeah.
um and let's see. Besides that, man, it's been pretty good. My daughter turned 15 last week. If I
Nice.
make it to next Thursday, I'll be 38 next Thursday.
You'll make it. Stop
So,
saying shit like that.
hey, the only reason why I say that, man, is because I'm real with it. I could walk outside and a plane fall on my head tomorrow, and I had no idea or didn't see it coming. What else? Oh, man, my shoulder.
Mm.
I was doing something I shouldn't have been doing, and now I'm feeling the pain for it. And I have to tell myself I'm not a young 20-year-old man anymore. So my shoulder's kind of jacked, but that's on me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
It, I turned 40. I know what you mean, man.
yeah, we still need to because I think I was supposed to come by and just pop up.
Yeah, just hang out for a little bit.
Yeah, I need to do that, man. Especially
Anytime.
like prior to the kids getting in school, and now we got to get into that whole school routine and things like that. And you live right down the road.
I know, right? Like 2 minutes away.
All right, so let's get into the first story for today. Let me ask you a question. You're a
Shoot.
video gamer. I'm a
Yes,
video
sir.
gamer. What's the first console game that pops into your head? Any console, any generation. If you think of, gaming, who do you think's what's the first that pops into your head? And separate question, who do you think's the most popular?
Ooh. Most popular now or most popular ever?
Most popular ever.
That's tough because I would want to say it's Super Mario.
It is.
Yeah, he's the one of the most iconic characters of the last 20, 30 years, and I mean he's that guy. He's
Yep.
Super Mario. Um, Most popular right now, I'd probably say Call of Duty.
Okay.
Like especially our generation, especially our military and veterans. You know what I mean? Like Call of Duty is the thing.
If you
Um,
were to be a collectible, what would you collect as a collectible?
a collectible
A
like anything specific or console specific,
console specific.
a Game Boy.
Okay. A Texas man
Hmm.
has been collecting Sonic the Hedgehog memorabilia over 30 years and
Yep.
is now in the Guinness Book of World Records for his cash that tallies over 3,050 items.
Jeez. He's
That
bought everything
is
Sonic.
ridiculous. So this
He likes
guy,
Sonic.
let's see, I don't know if they say his age, but
That
he has
dude's
been
40.
collecting things since 1992 when he made his first video game purchase, which was Sonic 2.
Yeah.
Okay, in 92, which in 92 I was
He's
about
doing
8
he's
years old.
he's been doing it for 30 years. Or at
Man,
least that's what it says at the top. So and he bought a
how
Sonic theme. His second was a Sonic themed bubblegum container. Nice. I thought it was like Pez for a second.
I don't know how gets away. Like even if I was a single man,
Yeah.
let's say I'm single, no kids, having the property space to collect all of this stuff and store it. I don't know how he gets away with that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, you find somebody who is willing to participate or is willing to do work with you. You know what I mean? Like I get my room full of my Sonic memorabilia. You get your room for your Lululemon or some shit. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like you get somebody who you meet somebody who's of the same kind of mind as you. Not necessarily a collector too, because two people collecting 3,000 items of any genre might be a little complicated. But I mean, just somebody who's not like one of my exes who made me get rid of all my shit because it was childish. You know what I mean?
What? And you did?
I was young and impressionable.
Hey man, you know what? It's funny that you say that. I was telling somebody about the things that I did
Hmm.
that I'm like, there's no way I would do it now. There's
Of
absolutely
course,
no
but
way that
but
I do it
but
now.
only because you had to experience it the first time to
Yeah,
understand it's not something that would make you happy. And
yeah.
and that's what it was for me. It was a lesson learned. Like when I met, my current wife, I told her straight up, I would not change who I am for you. So either you like me as I am, or we can, part ways. And it's just
Mm-hmm.
that's what this guy's like, look, we look, Sarah, we've been dating now for 2 or 3 weeks. I just gotta let you know. You know what? We're just gonna rip the band-aid off. Come to this door. I'm gonna open it. I want you to hold on 1 second. Just take a deep breath, and I'm gonna rip the band-aid off. Okay? He opens the door, and she's just like, "That's a lot of Sonic," And he's like, "This is me, baby. Take it or leave it." And Sarah was like, "Can I make a room full of tails?" you know? And that's how that man continues to collect his Sonic memorabilia.
Yep. So yeah, man, I saw the amount that
Mm,
he had, and and that's posters, pencils, molds of the
mhm.
Burger King toys,
I saw
apparently.
that. Yeah.
So different little knickknacks and things that tallied up to 3,050 different stuff, and he's not done. He is not
No.
done.
He ain't trying
That's
to lose
insane.
that Guinness Book of World Records award or whatever.
That is insane. Hey,
Yeah.
shout out to him for his collection
He's living his life.
and his dedication, man. I say, look, man, if it makes you happy and it don't bother anybody, man, you know what? Do you, boo boo? Uh, what's the standard tip size if you're going out to eat or something, man, at a restaurant? Do you happen to
Like
know what the industry standard is?
it's like 18%, something like that.
15%.
Is it 15? Okay.
15, yep, 15% is the industry standard. Matter of fact, I'm curious. Industry standard, because I said it, now I'm like not entirely too sure. So let's go to the Googles. Let's see, according to eater.com, which whatever, it says should be around 20%.
Mm.
The Emily Post Institute, who the hell is Emily Post Institute, says that it's anywhere between 15 to 20%. So
I
I
average 18.
I average about 18. And really, tipping is more of an American culture type thing. If you
Oh
go
yeah.
to different, countries outside, you don't tip. Matter
Hmm.
of fact, I remember the first time I traveled outside the country and I went to go and leave a tip, and the server or waitress was like, "No, take that." Like very clear, "No, take that." And
Hmm.
then I turned to the other person like, "Oh yeah, dude, tip is not a thing here." And I was like, "Oh,"
But
and the service was like, I didn't tip
impeccable.
because I was obligated. The service was freaking fantastic.
Yeah. But you know why though?
Let's hear it. Oh, because they pay people a better living wage than we do here.
Yes. Correct. Correct. Businesses here like to say, well, you'll make tips. So that means I don't have to pay you what you should be paid because some kindness of some people's hearts, which we know is shenanigans in this country. You know what I mean? Kindness of people's hearts. Are you nuts? They're not operating .orgs. You know what I mean? But yeah, totally. I've been to when I was stationed in Germany. It was completely one of those things where I'm like, wow, like this is nice. And I mean, the service, like you said, was just incredible. But they're probably treated better, you know? They didn't have some 20-year-old managing a bunch of 30-year-olds.
You know, man, here's the thing. I tell people I've never had a real job, right? My current job's a real job.
Yeah.
But I joined the Air Force when I got straight out of high school, essentially.
Mhm.
Prior to that, I had worked for my uncle at a
Mm.
recording studio,
Nice.
but I did work at Applebee's for 2 days as a
Nice.
as a general utilities specialist, which is a fancy word for saying dishwasher. All right.
Nice.
Now, I lasted 2 days because I was like, screw this noise. My uncle was paying me way more than what Applebee's was, but me and him had a bit of a falling out. So I was like, you know what? I'll show you.
And then you hated it.
And then I hated it. But
Yeah.
and the reason why I bring that up is I've never really had a service industry job like that. Now, my active duty job, I was primarily an in-flight refueler, commonly called a boom operator. Secondary to our job was whenever we had passengers on our aircraft, the boom operator, unless he was a designated passenger handler, we
Mhm.
had multiple roles, but our job was to make sure that the passengers didn't do nothing stupid like open the door mid-flight or you know break something that would cause us to crash and burn essentially. But B, it was to make sure that they were comfortable. We were the ones that took care of them, basically like a flight attendant man as well.
Yeah, there it is.
I always took pride in ensuring that whenever we had passengers, they remembered who I was. I wanted somebody to see me if they happened to, because we didn't primarily have passengers on our airplane. It wasn't its primary mission. But depending on where we would go to some locations,
Yeah.
you had people that knew the flight systems and stuff, and they would come on what's called Space A, which is space available.
Yep.
And I wanted people to see me and go, "Hey, there's Airman Smith," and like that I was their crew member because they knew that I was going to take care of them. Did I get paid extra for that?
No.
Nope. Did I get any special recognition or something that would cause me to get a promotion in the service? Nope. I just always thought that it was pretty cool to try to make somebody's day, man. And there wasn't
Yeah.
anything that anybody taught me. I've and I say that because I'd always like to know if I was like a bartender or a waitress, and if I could maintain that level of service, even when, like, let's say 90% of people didn't tip me, all right, for whatever reason, I just didn't get tipped. I'm gonna say this because I don't have boobs and blonde eyes or whatever. It was just there was a study that was done where this one lady had like A cups or whatever, and then like enhanced, the same person, but they enhanced
Mhm.
and then they even went even bigger. And with the bigger bust, she had a substantially more amount of tips that that day than the previous days when it was smaller. So that's why I put that in there. I actually just saw that video last week. But I'm wondering if I could keep that level of service going, even if I wasn't getting, tipped. So,
Well,
what are we talking
it's
about?
it's funny because you're talking about the Air Force and how you went above and beyond to ensure people had great service and everything like that, and that probably actually did help your career ultimately. Like you didn't get accolades, you weren't doing it for accolades, but it probably people were like, Airman Smith's a fucking good dude. He's always high speed. He's always taking care of his people. Everybody comes off of the flight feeling great. I had a very opposite experience as a signal specialist.
Hmm.
I absolutely loved what I did. Probably a little bit too much for a soldier. Um, and all I wanted to do when I would go to work was fix stuff. It was the whole reason I signed up for Signal to begin with. I loved to fix things. It's just one of my favorite things to do is to fix stuff. And I used to get told I was arrogant
For
because I was
wanting
like,
to
no, because I
be
would actually say I'm good at my job. And I was actually good at my job. I was told that I was arrogant. Which is so fucking funny because you've seen these Captain America types in the army and in the service, and everybody's like, "Fucking look at that guy! He's fucking high speed." She's winning strongman competitions. He's fucking doing tough mutters, and you're like, "Those fucking guys are cool. They're high speed." But if a fucking signal soldier is like, "I can fix radios really well," you're like, "You're fucking arrogant, man. Stop it." Like, do you know what a young service member thinks when somebody tells them that because they're good at what they do, you're like, you're a piece of shit. It's like, okay, then I'm gonna be a piece of shit, man. Like, you do understand that this isn't helping you. I'm fixing your stuff. You know
I
what I
don't
mean? Like,
man.
it was the weirdest experience, but it taught me a lot about working in the workforce. Because I mean, obviously that was army, that was, early 2000s, was a long time ago, and I was a different person then, but I learned it really fed into this issue I have, this neuroses I have from a kid, where I need to be validated. Like, I need to hear that I'm doing a good job to know that I'm doing a good job. Because if I'm doing a good job and nobody's telling me I'm doing a good job, I wonder if I'm doing a bad job,
Hmm.
even though I'm doing a good job.
Hmm.
It's deep, dude. It's deep. This shit comes from childhood trauma. Um, but then to go through that, where I'm doing my absolute level best and then being told like you're a piece of shit. Cuz in the army it's not about being good at your job, it's about how fast you can do your PT tests, how many push-ups and sit-ups you can do. Yeah, and it's unfortunate. It's very fucking unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. And I'm not saying it's all the army. I'm saying in some places,
Still,
you
man,
know?
it's not just you that I hear that stuff from.
Yeah.
Like I have a pretty good network of military
Yeah.
veterans, and a lot of the crappy stories that I hear come from my army brothers and sisters. Jeez Louise.
It's a lack of priority, a lack of focus. People coming up in toxic environments, further facilitating more toxic environments for more people. Like my very first unit in the army, I loved it. I loved it, but there was so much wrong with it that I'm glad I experienced it young. It ruined my career ultimately, but not right away. Like it set me up to understand that this is what I might expect from the rest of the army, and then I experienced the rest of the army, and it was another completely different level of fucked up, but for different reasons. So
True.
I'm like, okay, cool. I'm not in the same toxic environment, but I'm still in a toxic environment. So it's not a nerve agent. Now it's a fucking blood agent. You know what I mean? Like, it's if it's not one thing, it's another. Um, but yeah, it taught me a lot about, if I'm good at what I do, don't fucking talk about it. Don't
Hmm.
don't tell anybody, don't let anybody know I'm good at something, because then they're going to either tell you you're a piece of shit, or they're going to throw a whole lot of stuff at you because they know you're good. And that sucks. That's unfortunate. That should not be. Could you imagine if somebody told Michael Jordan when he was a kid, stop fucking playing so well, dude. That's real fucking arrogant of you to be able to get 30 seconds of hang time. Nobody wants to see that. You know, nobody wants your face on these sneakers. Could you imagine if somebody told I'm not first off, I'm not comparing myself to Michael Jordan. I was not that good. But I mean in general,
No,
a high performer,
man.
like, could you imagine telling a young Jordan not to be what you're going to become? You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
it's unfortunate. It is
I
so
used
unfortunate.
to I used to always take, I don't know if the right word is pride, like kind of like knowing certain things. And then two,
Yeah,
I
you
hated
should though.
and then two, I also hated being in school and know
Mm,
how like the teacher would say something and or ask a question and nobody would raise their hand or say anything. So now the class is just dragging on and on. But if you know, so I was a guy like if I knew it,
that
I'd want to
answer.
raise my hand, say it, answer it, so we can get the moving. But I was always the one raising, and like even sometimes it was like I'd sit and wait, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
and then it came to be that that's what I was known for. Okay, fine,
Fuck
right?
it. Fuck it.
I have no problem with that, but I did have a problem with this one guy coming up to me, man, and should I even say this? Yeah, you know what? This dude's life is not the best.
Yeah.
In and out of jail multiple times. He used to be a bully of mine. All
Hmm.
right. But as an adult, we had a real good conversation. But man, as kids, he stepped at me one time and was like, man, just because you think you smart and shit, like, you know, you ain't nobody. You ain't special. And I'm like, who said I was?
Right.
You know, but he was the type that because of his name and who he was, he had influence. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And he was saying this around other people within
Hmm.
earshot so that they could hear it.
It
You
was
know
for
what I'm
them. It wasn't for you.
so I'm just sitting here like it it messed me up a bit. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like I ultimately, how do I say this? Like I ultimately didn't care because even at that young, I was like, wait, I never said that I was the best or that I know everything or whatnot. I know I don't know everything. So for him to say that or feel that way, yeah, it stung a bit. But at the same time, I was like, I know that that's not me. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So I really didn't let it bother me. It affected me because of other people hearing it. Like if it was just him saying it to me,
Hmm.
whatever. But the fact that other people heard this, now I'm wondering what they think
Yeah.
because of his influence.
Hmm. They're
That
scared of him, so they'll get his back. You know, that kind of thing.
yep. And two, because he was a little bit older, I couldn't whoop his ass. So so I couldn't like,
Which
so,
is what which is what truly made him a bully. He was picking on somebody smaller than him, which tells you an awful lot. You know,
but
dude.
but it's pretty funny, like that same guy that said that to me that, you know, it's and it's funny just talking about excellence. Like
Hmm.
the whole overarching topic really with this is just that excellence in what you do and how other people will try to put you down for doing not just the standard
But
but
going
above
above,
and
yeah,
beyond, man.
yeah.
That is something that I will never get. And that as an adult too, I'd say if I recognize that in somebody, bro, let's move forward because I'm about to tell you something with this that's gonna go here to this subject.
All right, cool.
What's the largest that you've ever tipped anybody?
Oh, probably $20. I mean, it depends. We're talking tattoos, like $50. We're
Okay.
talking like meals,
Meal.
probably like 15, $20.
I was gonna say this just now prior to kind of changing. I recognize when people go above and beyond. Okay.
Yeah,
I've tipped $100 on a $50 meal
nice.
because what I noticed and what I saw, this person was a slammed. All right. So it wasn't like there wasn't a whole lot of people and,
Yeah,
you know, this place was packed and this person didn't miss and didn't jack up an order, didn't any odd type normal thing or whatever. They was on it, stayed on top of my table as well. And I was eating solo at the time, and I don't want to say I had two drinks and then the entree, and I was reading a book. So at one point I kind of put my book down and just kind of people watching. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
And I saw this guy with just excellent service, was right at the table. Nobody in his area had to raise their hand or kind of ask for anything. And I don't know, it just kind of made me smile because I felt like that wasn't this person's. Like, one just doing it for the money or whatever, or one because they were slammed. Seemed like, and like his dress and appearance was fantastic too. Didn't look sloppy, his clothes was neat and everything like that, facial hair. So I was just like, this is somebody that I thought that I recognized would take pride. So I tipped him $100 on a $52 bill, bro.
Nice.
And it was cash too. And he was like, hey, he came to me, was like, you had left your change. I said, no, bro, that's your tip. And he was like, thank you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I just said, hey man, no problem, and turned around and walked off. So I bring up all of that stuff about tipping and my old job and recognizing good service or whatnot, because in Pennsylvania, about 2 weeks ago, somebody surprised a waitress with a $3,000 tip on a $13 bill at a pizza cafe in Scranton, PA. And all they ordered
Wow.
was a Stromboli. $3,000 left on the tip for a Stromboli. That must have been a good ass Stromboli, because
Right? Must have changed
wow.
his life.
All
Or
right. And
maybe
so
he
it
just wanted
said,
to do something good.
yeah. She said that she had recently waited on a customer, okay, and received a $3,000 tip. It said we ran his card and everything went through. We took his ID and took pictures of everything. They waited a little bit to make sure that it was legit, and it went through, and it just ended up being unreal. The part that kind of makes me a little nervous is they said we took his ID and took pictures of everything. I get why they was probably doing it on like a security side or whatnot. But if I got that kind of money to where I could leave $3,000, for a tip, I don't know if that was like a debit or credit card, but yeah, I'm not allowing anybody to take my ID and take photos of it. That's the part
Yeah.
that baffled me. It was like, You
Well,
say,
they
hey,
were
well,
worried. Well,
you
they were
know,
worried that he was gonna come back and say, "Oh, that's negligent," and they wanted to make sure they had all their ducks in a row. Like, I get it.
yeah, hey man, like, when I win this mega millions, billions of dollars, I think I'm gonna be like, there's people that are known to be generous tippers, like Shaq. He's a celebrity. I'm not saying,
Hmm.
I'm gonna be a celebrity, but to me, unless the service is shitty, I'm likely gonna be a generous tipper. That's just the type of person who I am. But this guy, the manager of this pizza place, said that they actually spoke to the customer who explained that he was from out of town and left the generous gratuity as part of the Tips for Jesus, a social media trend, okay, in which you leave the Tips for Jesus written on the receipt. I don't, I don't, I mean, look, it's a good cause and all, but what's that supposed to do? Like, what's that market trend supposed to be? Tips for Jesus. I don't get that part behind it, but the nicety and the generosity of it all. Shout out to Mr. Smith. Hey, look, he's got the
Hey,
same last name. Hey, maybe we cousins. Hey, Eric. Hey, bruh. Hey, man, I'm trying to get my car paid off. Shoot
there's
me
this
an email
there's
at
this
the
new
actual King Smith.
there's this new trend, rims for Jesus.
Hey, there's
Gotta.
rims for Jesus. Hey, titles for Jesus. How about that one? Let me get my title titled
Uh,
over to me in Jesus' name.
Jesus.
Oh man, I shouldn't have done that, but I did. Hey, cuz, come on now. But you know what? Shout out to him
Yeah, it's a good thing. It was nice.
for making someone's day. All right. Ooh. Uh, two more quick. One thing prior to the main story, and then the word of the day. So, if you play the lottery, the Mega Millions is now up to where the annuity is over $1 billion, and that is
Mm.
one with a B. And there's a website that I always go to if I want to understand what those payments look like. So this
Yeah.
is usamega.com. All right. And
Hmm.
if your state has the lottery, which there's, look, how to play, where to play, frequently asked questions, and this page that I'm on here is called jackpot analysis. So if you ever wanted to know, hey, what would it look like if I won? If you take the 30 payments, assuming that you're the loan ticket, you have to factor in federal taxes, which this state shows what the highest amount would be, for your winnings. And then this little annuity payment schedule where what your average pay would be each year for the next 30 years. And then you
Dude,
can
I
break
would
it down
just take that.
by state as well.
Like, I
So
know
for
people go for the lump sum, but I would totally take 30 payments of $30 million.
bro,
You
at
know what I mean?
38, yep, at our age, let's just take a look. Now this where they show the gross payment, they take out
Yeah.
federal and state, and then you could even just base it off of whatever your filing status
Look at
is.
that money, dude.
All right.
Jesus.
So you're talking 8 million and then it's a graduated step
Yeah.
up. All right.
Every year it goes up more.
Yep.
30 years, few million a 20 million a year almost. Come on now. Dude,
Yep.
I would take.
So
Dude, I know people really opt for the lump sum, but I would totally take the 30 payments
same here.
with the
And,
hopes
and,
that I'm
and
gonna live 30 years to get it all. You know?
bingo. Yep. There you go. So if you take this and then let's say you factor in inflation and other things, over time, which is why they kind of set this up this way, that they're estimating that after 30 payments, taking out taxes, you'll get about $550 million versus
Jesus,
if you took the cash option when you
you
factor
just
in
get.
the federal and state, you're sitting at around 325 million in present money. Now, some
Dude,
people
I
can say,
love how much the government takes from you. You know what I mean?
bro, to go from
One
uh
billion, 1 billion down to 325 million, or even the 555
well,
million.
the
So the government
325
gets half.
comes
Like,
from the fact that the cash option is about 602.
I'm sorry.
So this is the
When did
present
me and the government get married, and the government's entitled to half? You know what I mean?
money.
I've been serving this country for over 20 years. I think I'm entitled to half.
Bro. So yeah, that's a nice little chunk of change, man. So if y'all are out there playing the
Mm,
lottery and you want to know some information or kind of some estimates now, these
jeez.
are estimates.
When's the next
Um,
drawing?
come here. So the next drawing is this coming Friday. Friday, I want to say it's like you have to get your tickets by like 10 p.m. Eastern. So whatever that
Mm,
means for your state. I tell people 9:55 Eastern because the drawing's a little bit after 10. Okay, so
yeah.
get your tickets before then. Some places like there's no lottery in the state of Alabama, but if you live near like the Alabama Georgia border, my mom went before this past Tuesday's draw. So the Mega Millions is Tuesdays and Fridays. She said that there were people lined up at this one popular store that's known for winners because it's right there by the state line. And she said that people were standing in line for like 30, 40 minutes to an hour, depending on what time that they went. If they went
Yeah.
earlier in the day when everybody was at working, then like the lines were kind of quick. But if you were
Yeah.
one of the people that went like between the hours of 3 and like 7 p.m., said that it was cars lined up of people trying to get there that were coming from out of state.
Yeah.
Said,
I never play, but I might try. Just
hey
why
man,
not, you know?
we what I do whenever it gets,
Yeah.
pretty high. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna
I
do that again this coming Friday.
yeah, I didn't, but I should have. And so now
Okay.
I'm probably just gonna go and do it on my own. But next time I'll do the thing.
All right. Cool beans.
Yeah.
So uh final story for today.
Mm,
Wow.
finally
All
made
right.
it.
There is somebody who I had never heard of, man. There's always all these kind of rappers, and they have some interesting names. And there's this thing that I tell people where I say, you know what? In today's day and age, be careful about what you say and what you do because you could mess around and find out. And in this
Hmm.
case, this guy did just that. The the headline of this goes rapper Rolly Bands fatally shot after he told haters to pull up on him. Okay? And zoom in on me. To pull up on someone or to run up means to approach me in a threatening manner so that I can inflict and do harm upon you. That's what it means to roll up on somebody or pull up. So let's just read the article. A rapper from Florida reportedly found out what happens when keeping it real goes incredibly wrong. After he issued a challenge to his enemies in a social media post, the rising artist was shot in front of his own home. According to a report Fox 13 in Tampa published this past Friday, he was found face down in the parking lot of his apartment complex and was rushed to a local hospital where he had unfortunately passed away from a single gunshot wound. Okay. Apparently, let's see, according to this article, he said a lot of these N words know where I live at FR, which means for real. I sleep in peace. If an N word wants smoke, I'm at the crib in 5 minutes.
Oh, he's from Tampa. Oh man.
Yeah, it just, I don't get, because I don't know if you want to call this a flex,
Well, I
but
mean, you know the rappers, they have to have this persona of, being just undefeatable, or
mhm,
Superman kind of thing. Yeah, that's just how that's their persona, that's their character. I ain't no bitch, I ain't no punk. I mean, you don't have to be a punk to die by a bullet. It's like those things will kill you no matter what.
yep,
Ain't nobody out here bulletproof. So I mean, I don't know. Like you
bro,
said, it's the whole fuck around and find out thing. But that
yep,
sucks. That sucks because I mean, he obviously was not asking for that. But at the same time, it does sound a lot like he was asking for that.
hmm he fucked around and found out, and it's unfortunate. And this was the part where I was telling you about, where I was talking about trauma and how I wanted to kind of connect some certain things to trauma, because just like you and the lady at the con had talked about, everybody's traumas and the things that happen to them in life are different. Like, I've been
Hmm.
shot at, I've
Hmm.
almost flown into a mountain, I've been in a serious car accident, you know what I'm saying? I've had some things that have changed my perspective about how I view certain. I've been jumped,
Hmm.
you know what I'm
I've been
saying?
jumped.
So that's changed my experience on how I look into certain situations or how I approach certain things.
Hmm.
And there's other people where, like, where I've only had two instances where I've been shot at. One was directly related and the other one was kind of indirectly. There's other people that they live certain lifestyles where that's every day to them. So to be around a gunshot or something, that's a Tuesday morning on the way to work.
Hmm.
So they don't flinch, they don't jump, they not really looking over their shoulders. They might be like, "Oh, where'd that come from?" and then
Yeah.
keep it moving.
Hmm. You go back several episodes where I mentioned where I feel like if we can get PTSD from experiencing war for a year or several rotations of a year overseas where people are shooting at us all the time, you can't tell me these people who live in these neighborhoods going through these scenarios are not dealing with a form of post traumatic stress. That's and that rapper Rolly Bands might have been dealing with post traumatic stress too, and anger, outbursts of anger. You know what I mean? That Superman lifestyle. I've seen many service members exhibit the same kind of behavior.
Hmm.
So
And this is like kind of related, but not really. Shortly after my divorce, when I was out dating, I was talking to this one chick who was separated, and she was telling me that she was separated. But while we were talking, she would always say that, well, my ex this, or my soon to be ex this, my soon to be
mhm,
ex that. And I don't know, something in the back of my mind was kind of tingling. And then I did recall certain stories that I've read about where, people had hooked up or gotten together and the jealous ex, or they really wasn't the ex, but that person was trying to make it seem, like it was an ex,
mhm,
found out about something and stepped and killed both of them. So, like, I cut it off with her because your boy did not want to fuck around and find out
mhm.
that while she was saying that it was a soon to be ex, nah, like it
Yeah.
really wasn't. And like I had always been curious about this lady to this day because I'm like, yeah, it just I didn't get a good feeling about
The
that.
vibe, yeah.
Yep. And I was just like, nah. And I was always like, man, like if there's an episode of like Snapped, I wonder if that's the couple couple who was on it. But man, all of those experiences, everything that you've gone through, I've gone through, anybody that's gone through, if you learn, if you fucked around and found out and you learn from it, you don't really try to tempt fate with a lot of that stuff multiple times. I
Yeah.
like it's my opinion. They don't say this guy's age in this article, but looking at him, he looks young. I'd say
He's
he's
very
definitely
young.
under the age of 30 for sure. And unfortunately, he had to learn a lesson that he couldn't get a restart from.
Yeah. That's unfortunate, man. It's
Yep.
sad.
So yeah, that is all I wanted to cover for that story. Do you have a word for today?
Always. Always.
All
This
right.
one's kind of a softball.
Ooh, okay.
I don't think I've used the word before for our word of the day, but man, I should keep track of those.
I do.
Okay. Well, you're going to tell me if I've used this one before.
All right.
It's easy. You shouldn't. I'm pretty sure you know this. Cathartic.
We haven't used this one.
Okay.
Cathartic. I think it's like because I'm feeling. Wait, hold on. Cathartic.
No,
Is that a
that's
separate word?
you're thinking lethargic.
Lethargy. Oh no.
I'm
So
thinking cathartic, like
cathartic.
catharsis.
Catharsis. So I thought it because lethargic is when you're tired, right?
Hmm.
See, I thought that was oh shit.
It's a different word.
Cathartic. Okay.
Cathartic. Cathartic.
Cathartic. All right. So cathartic. That is where it's related to the catheter and you're using something to urinate. Cathartic.
No,
Damn it.
no, not even close, dude. Oh
Okay.
Jesus. Providing psychological relief through the open expression of strong emotion.
I don't know how you spell psychological. I spelled that all kinds of wrong. There we go.
PSYCHO.
Providing psychological relief.
Relief through the open expression of strong emotions, causing catharsis.
Strong emotions. Spell cathartic.
Cathartic.
Cathartic. Blah, blah, blah. Spell it.
CATHARTIC. Ugh.
Cathartic.
Cathartic.
Providing psychological relief through the open expression of
Expression of
strong
strong emotions.
emotions, causing
Catharsis.
catharsis. And I'm just gonna assume I spelled that right.
SIS at the end. Yeah. Catharsis.
Boom. So let's put this up on the screen. Cathartic, providing psychological relief through the open expression of strong emotions, causing catharsis. Can you use this within a sentence, Joe, real quick?
Um, yeah. Um, I found my time um in this Broadway play was very cathartic for me.
Okay.
because like so I'll tell you where it came from,
Yeah.
why I decided. I was recently tweeting Vincent Vargas. Like, I don't know if you know him. He's
Yeah, he part of the drinking bros. Them dudes
yeah.
came a long way from what they used to do.
Yes, yes. And he's on the Mayans TV show, and he's playing Gilly, and he was at San Diego Comic-Con, and he talked about how they've taken his actual story and put it in, like, kind of not his 100% actual story, I think, but maybe, but they've taken his story and intertwined it into his character in the show. And I told him, I was like, it's got to be very cathartic to be able to tell your story on your terms in a way that it can help other people understand where you're coming from and what you've been through and what you've seen, and people are lining up to want to see what you have to say, and for a second I was like, wait, am I using that right? But there's no edit button on tweet, so I wanted to make sure, but like in my head I was like, I know cathartic. um but yeah, it was just funny because it came up. But yeah, but it's funny because his portrayal of his character is in essence, I'm not saying it is for him, but it could be for him. It could bring catharsis because he's using those strong emotions from acting and portraying and like reliving and talking about his things to tell his story, which I would assume, and I think it happens for a lot of people, where that actually helps him just as much as he's helping other people, which is, I think, brilliant and awesome. So yeah, I tweeted Vincent
Nice.
Vargas. He's awesome. Check him out if
Yeah.
you guys don't watch Mines. He's fucking incredible.
Yeah, I've seen because I think he's on the first season of it. I
Yeah,
never watched the
he
first season of the Mayans.
yeah, but he's like, now he's in it more. Like they've gone into his backstory some more and stuff like that. Like, I won't tell you anything, spoilers, but he was in there in the beginning, but not like a lot. Like, it was like cameos. But now he's like a regular.
That's what's up, man. Hey, all of those guys too, and we'll end with this thought. All of those guys that were a part of the Drinking Bros, they stayed
They
consistent with
hustled.
a lot of social media stuff, various backgrounds or whatnot, but
Yeah,
they
they hustled.
stayed consistent. They came together. They put in some hard work. They've all branched out now and have gone on and done different things. But it started with just social media,
Hmm.
them wanting to
Bunch of people
put
getting
out
together and drinking.
comedy, drinking and stuff, with their buddies, and then parlaying various opportunities. And man, they've the reason why I bring that up is it wasn't an overnight success. Like, some
No,
people can see them and be like, "Oh
took
yeah,
them a
that's the
long
dude in
time.
the Lions," or the other guy, "Oh, that's the Black Rifle Coffee," whatever. It's like,
Hmm.
no, they've been
They've
together
been out there. Yeah,
like well over a decade. Because I want to say I had known about the Drinking
yeah,
Bros when I was still active duty.
yeah. Easy. Yeah,
You know what I'm
they've been
saying?
out there for a minute. Yeah,
So
it shows you what hard work and continuous effort does.
yep, they are one of my examples, man. Because there's people that I know that who are extremely talented, Joe. I have
Yeah.
family members and friends that I try to convince to come on social media and start a podcast, start
Hmm.
either a audio or video podcast, and just share their stories, crack jokes, cover various subjects, do whatever. But they're expecting to get on here, do 5 or 6 episodes,
And just
and
be
get like
famous.
10,000
Yeah.
subscribers. And I'm like, no, man.
Doesn't happen
Kevin
overnight.
Hart, man. A lot of these people, like, if you go and read Kevin Hart's book, where he talked about how he didn't have money to get to certain shows,
Yeah.
staying on people's couches and things like that.
Yeah.
And Vincent Vargas is one of those stories that I talk about. The Drinking Bros people, I use Kevin Hart and various other people that it took them decades even
Yeah.
to get to where they're at right now.
Dude,
And it wasn't a quick rise.
look at Kevin Hart, man. The very first time I saw him, it was either in one of the Scary Movies as a side character, or it was in 40-year-old version when he's in the music store, and he's like, y'all about to get clapped up. Like like but it's funny because I remember those scenes. I remember his roles in those movies, but that's what he was for the longest time. And everybody's like, "Oh, no, Kevin Hart's fucking everywhere." It's like, bitch, he fucking deserves to be. You know how much work he put in? It's the
Mm-hmm.
same. It's the same with The Rock, which is funny because they're like synonymous now. They're like boys. But the amount of effort, like Rock is like one of the highest paid people in Hollywood right now, and for good reason. But his career almost ended in Hollywood almost immediately because people hated his first role or didn't think he did very good or whatever, shenanigans. Ultimately, he proved them wrong, but it's because he kept pushing, like the kind of drive that these people have. Most average people don't understand how much work and effort it takes to do the things you really want to do,
Mm-hmm.
and I was watching something on social where your level of success, your level of struggle is commensurate to your level of success. So the more success you want, the more struggle you need to have, or there will be, to get to that level of success. I like that. That's stuck with me. And these cats, they've all proven that. You know what I
Ooh,
mean?
podcast episode right there. Just hard work, man. To me, I don't think enough people realize or really truly understand what hard work is. I
Mm.
think a lot of people throw that out there. There was something, and this is
More
kind of a tangent,
specifically,
but I'll get. Oh, go
more
ahead.
specifically, they don't understand just how much hard work can mean to them. Like
Mm,
everybody thinks hard work is hard and they don't want to do it because it's hard, but they don't understand how good a hard day's work will make you feel.
hmm.
Like that's something that, like, we take pride in what we do because we know that that hard work, that feeling of accomplishment, that feeling of, like, almost like being able to take the thing that you've done and look at it and say, I did this, I made this, I contributed to something greater than I, something that exists outside of myself. Like that feeling, people think that hard work just sucks because it's hard, but no, man, like a good meaningful day of hard work can make you feel incredible.
I agree. I agree. That's why I'm cheesing as hell right now because I have this conversation with people all the time,
Yeah.
and there's even what, that's a tangent. So I appreciate everybody that will watch this live. As we have some people come in and out today on the live
Yeah.
stream, live stream. I thank those that took the time to tune in, and those that will take the time to tune in as well. We'll be back 2 Wednesdays from now with another episode of the Just Joking podcast. Your boy will be 38 years old as well. I'll be catching up with Joe's old ass over there. Hopefully, hey, and if y'all got any tips to get my grades to come in like sooner, let me know. I'm trying to get my grades or my whites to come in ASAP because I think
It's
grades
wisdom.
make
It's wisdom, bro.
men, yeah,
It's wisdom, bro.
look wisdom. You know what I'm saying? Just look more handsomer. So if
Uh,
y'all got tips, let me know. If it's stress, because we would say, "Oh man, I got these from stress." Y'all can keep that shit.
yeah. I was gonna say, because you were in the Air Force, you don't have any gray hair.
Hey Joe, man, it's been fun. It's been real. Uh we'll catch up prior to our next episode, but
Yeah.
I'm glad that we got up here, ran a little bit long today,
It's
but
okay.
you know what, we had some fun, man. Oh, and for those people that didn't catch the Roe versus Wade episode that we did, go back to our previous episode. Joe, we've had some comments on that one, man,
Awesome.
that I'm going to share with you offline, but it was
Good.
pretty much positive.
Good. 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 I mean, I hope people had different opinions and different ideas, and they want to have conversations because ultimately that's important. That's what it's all about. It's not about fighting or arguing. It's about conversing and helping each other see each other's perspectives and respecting people's opinions and ideas. You know what I mean?
Mhm. All right, my man. And we are out. Peace.